Vietnam et Gustave dom guardiam dilim dididididam lutes seradodidom seram.
Welcome to Nelly B TV. My name is Nelly, and in today's episode, we're going to be going over my initial thoughts for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, I finally played this game after it came out back in April. It's critically acclaimed. It has been highly anticipated since the initial trailer released back in 2024, and I am so excited to get into it. Just a little bit of backstory. I was meaning to pick this up on launch. I didn't pre-order because I'm a little bit iffy on pre-orders, but I digress. I couldn't find this anywhere physically in stores to pick up on release up until a couple of weeks ago. Trust me, I've been looking. Now, I usually don't have a problem picking up games digitally. I picked up Avowed on Steam, I picked up Oblivion Remastered on PS5, and I picked up Doom Eternal over on PS5 as well. Doom the Dark Ages, sorry, not on disc. So this one is, and I knew I had to add it to my collection because not only is it a great game, but in a sense, it's helping preserve physical media, especially in this medium. So I had to support that. This game is definitely a Game of the Year nomination for everybody involved in the conversation. It's been compared to everything that's come out since: Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Ghosts of Yote, Silk Song, and even things that came out before it like KCD2 and Split Fiction. This is up there. If you want to have this conversation, this game is going to come up. And obviously, I had to be a part of that conversation. So here I am today giving you my initial thoughts. I'm going to try and keep spoilers to a very minimum. We're going to be going over like the first 30 minutes of the game and a few mechanics and technical things afterwards, but we're going to keep story to a minimum. If you haven't played this, go play it. Stop this video right now. Forget about it entirely if you have to. Go play this game. I'm not even done with it. I'm not even in Act 3, but dear God, it's amazing. Expedition 33 is a third-person action-adventure turn-based RPG. One of the first things that got me so intrigued into this title is that turn-based combat and the way it plays out. Not only do you have the usual suspects like special attacks, status effects, and buffs, but you also have a beautiful parry and dodge system. So you're not just sitting in battle watching your enemy beat the absolute crap out of you. You actually get a little more agency and control here. While my scope in gaming is very limited, I haven't really seen this before. You can turn this off, but personally I left it on. It just helped me stay engaged a bit more in the combat, and especially at the Expeditioner difficulty, which is about normal for this game, it definitely helped keeping up pace with the enemies during battle. And that's what this battle system truly is at a core. It's basically a rhythm game, and it's so dope. Not only is the parry system engaging and fun to look at, it also evolves as you play through the game. You also get a dodge early on, and some enemy attacks can even be jumped over. Sticking with combat, each character you play as over the course of the game has access to their own unique weapon sets, as well as special attacks to accompany those weapons. You unlock these characters over the course of Act 1 and Act 2, so the way you engage with combat changes pretty drastically through maybe half of the game, with incremental changes coming later in Act 2 and early on in Act 3. Attack animations from both the players and your party and enemies never stops impressing. Suffice it to say that the combat in this game is absolutely gorgeous. It carries a sense of quality and doesn't sacrifice on quantity. It's constantly throwing new weapons, special attacks, and systems at you that don't feel overwhelming and are intuitive and fun to play around with. The same can be said for the rest of this game. There's just so much quality here. Just listen to the music. Again, it's quality here, and lots of it. It weaves in and out of the story, hitting the perfect tone for each moment in which it's placed. Sometimes you just put the controller down just to hear it out. A lot of the time, when I'm lost in the sauce, the awe of the art, combat, and cleverly written dialogue, that music will grab me and ground me in a way that allows me to still pick up what they're putting down tonally. You'll enter a new area or come across a new character and hear the swell of vocals followed by a melancholy violin and instantly piece together the importance of this particular moment in the story and its greater part to play in the whole narrative. I haven't heard an OST genuinely do its job so well here since Persona 3 Reload, God of War 2018. Maybe I'm telling on myself with the type of gamer I am, but seriously though, this is going into my playlist immediately. The visuals managed to be just as stunning here. I'm playing on PS5 in performance mode, but I dipped over in quality mode and it's beautiful, smooth, obviously 30 FPS, so I hopped back over in performance mode, solid 60 FPS, and although some shadows and details are a little bit muddier, it doesn't matter. This game is still gorgeous. This is the type of visual and performance optimization that you really only get from first-party Sony titles, barely ever even AAA, and this game was made by 33 people. First game from the studio. It's so damn impressive. Also, Unreal Engine 5. I'm planning on making a video about that before the year ends, about how Unreal Engine 5 is ruining video games, but topic for another video. Just know that this game is beautiful, runs very well, and I'm sure on the Xbox consoles it does well, and I'm sure on PC it might have a high requirement, but you can always upscale. And yeah, I don't know about how it is on PC. I'm playing on PS5. And that leaves us with the story. Sandfall could have front-loaded their prologue with heavy-handed exposition on the world. Characters, the big bad, the problem at hand. We've seen it before and we'll see it again. After all, this is a brand new world and a brand new IP with brand new characters, relationships, and history to explain. The story obviously has to sacrifice on quality here, right? Wrong. So wrong in so many ways. What the team at Sandfall does is take their time. They subtly drip feed info about who you are, why you're here, and what you have to do. It doesn't tell you everything. Very little, actually. This is the point in the video that I mentioned earlier about spoilers. Skip to the time on screen now if you don't want to be spoiled for, again, the very beginning of the game, first 30 minutes, possibly an hour if you take your time in that first section, which you can. There's quite a bit to do in that first section, but we'll go over that in a full review that I'll be releasing later. Just know that we're going into spoilers, so be warned. All you know at the start is that there is a woman in the sky called the Paintress. The Paintress showed up quite some time ago, about 67 years ago to be exact, and started writing on her blackboard behind her. Every year she counts down, and each year, every person from that age group is Thanos snapped. This is what is called a gommage. That's what the Expedition Festival at the start is for, at least in part. After the gommage, a group of people set out on an expedition to try something, anything to stop the Paintress and to figure out how to go back to some type of normalcy. The expeditions are named after the number on her blackboard, hence the title of the game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. During this year's gommage, a character by the name of Sophie is snapped. This was someone who your character Gustav had a history with, and despite knowing when she would go, he chose to separate from her and held out on seeing her until today. After the gommage, you and your crew rally at the docks, picking up a few more items, giving you the chance to fight Maëlle and in turn test out the combat a bit. You run into Gustav's sister, who gives a speech, at the end of which you set sail onto the expedition. This opening again does a great job at slowly drip feeding you information, subtly dropping things, allowing the next piece of info to be affected by the last, already getting the gears turning in your head. You start piecing things together on your own. You start understanding motives without explicitly being told them. Not everyone is dealing with the paintress the same way, and you pick that up through reading between the lines during certain moments and dialogue and the facial expressions on some of these actors. This wouldn't be possible without many factors at play. The tech, the art direction, the performance on display, they all come together to create a fully realized world with a very mature and fun story to boot. Clair Expedition is truly a sight to behold. Some of these areas are genuinely mind-blowing. The opening city of Lumia is a great example. The city itself looks like a bomb went off and froze mid-explosion, leaving debris stuck in the sky. Rocks look to be growing out of the ground and into the city, leaving just enough livable area to inhabit. The Eiffel Tower bent, torn, and distorted by whatever happened here all those years ago. Another great example is the flying waters, an ocean in every sense of the word, without any water, complete with coral life, bubbles suspended in midair as if they're traveling to the surface of an ocean that doesn't exist. It's very unique, and apart from it being the next mission objective, you basically stumble across this, and it's presented with simple yet effective cinematics. Just a low, wide camera angle, allowing you to take everything in at the moment of arrival. It's filled with new enemies, sunken ships, and hidden treasure. Areas later in the game play with scale and perspective, like this giant coliseum meant to house a powerful entity, or this wooden forest home to an actually friendly and somewhat slow race of creatures called the Gestrels. There's even a manor that almost acts as sort of a hub. In almost every area after and including the flying waters, you can find a door that grants you access to a new area of the manor. In the flying waters, the door is pretty obvious but uniquely tucked away in this hut. The first door leads to the main entrance of the manor, and it itself is an awesome set piece. Black walls with gold linework reaching towards the ceiling. There's art littered across the walls of the halls and rooms. Upon entering your first time, if you do enough snooping, you'll eventually come across a room where you can find Maëlle. Maëlle has been hiding out here with her spooky looking friend, who we come to know as the Curator. The Curator has not only been helping Maëlle with a place to stay in the manor, but food and aid as well. But he's also been training her, and before you leave, you can fight him. While fighting him, you can learn the jump dodge, which is pretty easy and does a lot of damage in return. A lot happens here that comes back up in the story, but what's important to note is that you have found Maëlle, another survivor, and she is powerful, in part due to her own skill as well as help from the Curator's training. Now, I mentioned that Maëlle was a survivor, and up until this point you only have 2 party members, Gustave and Lune. But before you left Lumiere and set sail, you had a whole crew. So what happened? Well, we're not talking about that in this video. I'm gonna save the explanation for the full review coming sometime in November, so leave a like and subscribe if you're excited for that. But definitely go play this game if you haven't already. I'm probably gonna say that another time towards the end, but play this game. Do it for yourself, if anything. But suffice it to say, your crew gets wrecked at some point, and slowly but surely you gather more party members as you find survivors. This not only allows for great character dynamics with each character dealing with and figuring out how to express their trauma, leading to some very heartfelt and endearing interactions, but it also serves as a way for the game to introduce those new and unique forms of combat we talked about earlier. I like this system. I find it really fun, really unique, and always changing. I'm at the point now where you've stopped getting new characters and are basically trying to min-max, but it's still fun and ever-changing. I'm still finding new builds and fun synergies and never really falling behind. That's another thing about this game, is that I think the progression systems on offer are really great. The rate at which you level, at least to me anyways, is also really balanced. You can cruise through this game on medium difficulty and not have a problem, like, at all. It can be a bit tedious with a system you start to learn early on in the game and progressively becomes more important to building out those stats of each character, but again, for the full review. Obviously, as you progress further through the game, some builds sit above the rest, some weapons just stop becoming useful, and abilities become more important to chain together, so managing turn rate, damage buffs, and action points, or AP, in order to make these special attacks is crucial. The system starts out simple and progressively gets more complex, with plenty of fresh new introductions throughout to continue to capture you. The animations and the effects are something to behold, and the rate at which you progress through these new abilities is seemingly perfectly balanced. That's about as comfortable as I can be with spoilers and initial thoughts. Anything else I feel like is getting into review territory, so we'll just save that for the full review. Again, like, subscribe if you're excited for that. Man, this is a game people have been asking for since the PS4 and Xbox One generation. It's a once-in-a-generation game, and before I can even beat it, before I can even finish it, like I said, late Act 2, going into Act 3, it's just so damn good and so damn refreshing. Again, brand new IP, Unreal Engine 5, so it's got hurdles, new team, their first game, the little things like the physical being actually on the disc, and although it's bare bones inside, it's still a great game. There are collector's editions that I kind of want to get. There is a vinyl coming out, not with the whole OST because the OST is huge, but they are picking select songs to add onto there. Don't have a record player, so probably not going to get that. But I'm just such a fan of this game right now, and I'm so excited to talk about all of its systems, all of its characters, and its story beats and moments in that full review. So again, get subscribed if you haven't already. It ticks all the boxes. It falls short in one specific area, and I really want to talk about that here, but I'm gonna wrap it up soon, so stay tuned for that. Next video is going to be another initial thoughts and impressions. Here is a blurred frame from the game that I will be talking about. Feel free to theorize on what that'll be, and then the video after that will be a special video, not on any game specific, but a topic in general. And then the video after that is the full review. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe again because you already know what to do. But suffice it to say, it's been a while since I've made a video. And I don't want to talk about it right now, but it feels good. I haven't even started editing, but it feels good. I am back, baby. Anyways, guys, it has been Nelly. This is Nelly BTV. Have a good one.